Hi everybody, I hope you're all doing really well. So today I am back to talk about the books that I read in May of 2023. Honestly, I would consider this to be a kind of average reading month. There were no books that were absolute 5 stars, best books of all time. But also there were no terrible books. As you'll see from my ratings, I've given pretty much everything 3 or 3.5 stars or something like that. And it's always good to not be reading books that are absolute duds, but also I want to be reading something that's going to really get me excited. You'll also see that this was quite a month of Greek myth retellings. So without much further ado, let's just get right into these books that I read. And those books were Stoneblind by Natalie Haynes, Why We Sing by Julia Hollander, which I've actually lent out to one of my friends, An Offer from a Gentleman, which is the 3rd book in the Bridgerton series, Woman's Law by Sarah Clegg, Happy Place by Emily Henry, King of Shadows by Susan Cooper, Loathe to Love You by Ali Hazelwood. This is a collection of 3 novellas in a binder. Medusa by Jessie Burton, Life After Life by Kate Atkinson. This was actually a pick for one of my book clubs. Ithaca by Claire North, and finally Clytemnestra by Costanza Casati. I had no rereads this month, but I did actually have 2 DNFs. Unfortunately, I had Highly Suspicious and Unfairly Cute by Talia Hibbert. I'm a really big fan of Talia Hibbert's work that I've read so far, the Brown Sisters trilogy, but this just didn't really do much for me. So I think I'm going to pass this on to someone who's going to enjoy it a little bit more. I also DNF'd for the 2nd time to Sir Phillip with Love by Julia Quinn, which is the 5th book in the Bridgerton series, which is Eloise's story. And I tried to read this last year as well, and I just did not like it because I do not like Sir Phillip at all. I just don't know how on board I can be with a romantic interest who is this close to hitting his children at any one time. I can't stand him, and I don't want to spend however many pages with him. And this so far has been my roadblock in terms of carrying on with the Bridgerton series, is I just don't want to read about him. But then I also feel like I can't proceed to the 6th book without having read the 5th one. I don't know, you tell me if you're a Bridgerton fan whether or not I need to continue on with this one. In terms of my star rating, the breakdown is as follows. I rated 2 books at a 3 star, those being Happy Place and King of Shadows. 1 book at a 3.25, which was Medusa. 4 books I rated 3.5 stars, so they were Life After Life, Woman's Law, Stoneblind, and An Offer from a Gentleman. 3 books I rated 3.75, so they were Why We Sing, Ithaca, and Loathe to Love You. And then 1 book I rated 4 stars, and this was the best book that I read this month, which was Clytemnestra by Costanza Casati. So yeah, to be honest, kind of a middling month. In terms of my fiction to non-fiction breakdown, I read 9 fiction to 2 non-fiction, so not doing quite as well with my non-fiction reading as I have done in previous months. And my genre breakdown is as follows. I read 4 Greek myth retellings, 2 books that were just purely non-fiction, 3 romance, and 2 historical fiction. In terms of individual book reviews about the books that I've read, I have already uploaded a joint review of Stoneblind and Medusa, as well as Why We Sing by Julia Hollander. Loathe to Love You I've already done a review for. I just need to edit and upload it, so look out for that in future. I'm also considering how I'm going to be reviewing Ithaca and Clytemnestra, because I also have another book on my TBR, which is Greek myth retelling, which is Daughters of Sparta by Claire Haywood. And a common theme throughout all 3 of those books is that all of them feature Clytemnestra as a character. So I don't know if I should do kind of a comparative review video of all 3 of those books, or whether I should just leave them to have their own separate reviews. But I'm not sure, because I feel like 3 back-to-back Greek myth retelling review videos, in fact it will be 4 because I'd have just done Stoneblind and Medusa, that might be a bit much. Penultimate point is to look at where my TBR is at. I started May the 1st with 41 books on my TBR. I either took off my TBR or unhauled 7 books. Either I just decided I wasn't going to get around to those books and have unhauled them, or I've decided that these books function more as reference things that are not going to be on my immediate TBR but I do want to keep. I have read 10 books from my TBR, DNF'd 1 book, and then bought or received 2, which has left me with an overall TBR at, drumroll please, 25 books. That is the best that my TBR has been in a very, very long time. And you'll notice I actually haven't really bought many books in May, which is quite amazing for me. I think me just buying books has been a big culprit for my TBR just not going down. And I really reined myself in May. And yeah, I'm just really in the mood to conquer this TBR. The last point in this check-in reading roundup is to look at what I'm currently reading. Right now I've only got 1 book on the go and I'm almost done with it, and it is All the Feels by Olivia Dade, which is another romance book, and it's actually the 2nd book in her series, which started with Spoiler Alert, which I read earlier this year. I don't know what this series is called actually, but there's Spoiler Alert, there is All the Feels, and then I think Shipwrecked, and all of them are focused around the cast of this Game of Thrones-esque TV show, of course falling in love. And yeah, this has been quite fun so far. We'll report back. But there we go, that is everything that I have to say about my May reading. Do let me know if you've read any of the books that I've spoken about today, what you thought about them. Alternatively, please let me know about anything that you read in May and enjoyed. I would love to hear from you. I hope you're having a fantastic day, and I look forward to talking to you again soon. Thanks. Bye.